gentleman's agreement that, listen, we'll stick together and there'll be no changes to the top four standing. So Cadell Evans remains in fourth place. Mm-hmm. Now, Andrea, I've got a couple of special guests in the studio, Tammi, Buhagiar and Peter Bowman, and we're here to talk about raising awareness of depression and suicide prevention through cricket. And it is a T20 competition. I'll firstly go to you, Peter, and tell us a little bit of background about this competition and the Last Man Stands competition, which is a franchise, and you're the franchisee here in Canberra. Tell us about it and why you set it up.
Basically, Last Man Stands is an 8-a-side T20 competition. The big benefit of it is the fact that the games only last 2 hours. I first got involved about 18 months ago when I'd heard that it had started here in Canberra, and I was lucky enough to go to the World Championships on the Gold Coast. The big thing that drew me to it was after the regular rounds, the final was played between a bunch of almost 40-year-old guys from New Zealand and a bunch of 22-year-olds from South Africa. And while fitness wore out on the day, the big thing about it was inclusion. You have a greater opportunity in this format of the game to give guys a chance to play. You don't have to set a standard batting order like you would normally set. The last guy can bat on his own, which gives people a greater opportunity. I have a number of registered 11s that have told me in the past that they go out to bat with the number 6 and they never get a chance because he gets out too early.
That's right.
So what you've got this competition running already in Canberra. You've decided to use it as a conduit to raise awareness of this issue.
Yeah.
And for the Michael Buhagiar Cup?
Yeah, for the Michael Buhagiar Cup. I played a lot of cricket here in Canberra in the city and suburban competition, and Michael played the majority of his cricket for the Harmon Demons, for which he's a life member and Southside Teachers, but also in the district comp.
And he took his own life, didn't he?
He did, tragically. It's 2 years ago today that Michael took his life. And certainly that was something that impacted me personally. I was quite affected by that, and I had spoken to a number of guys in cricket over the years that have been affected by depression and who had found themselves in that situation. What I've been really happy about is in talking to the guys who run City and Suburban is that they really want to get behind this as well, because a lot of guys particularly won't talk about this, and it's too late sometimes before we've had that chance to help, and the Are You OK Day initiative has certainly got behind this, and I'm certainly hoping that more people ask that question. You don't have to be, in someone's face about it, but it could just be. A friend of mine said the other day, you're better off to be slightly embarrassed by asking someone, are they okay, and them telling you, no, go away, than not asking the question at all.
All right. Sure. Well, I'll ask you the specifics of the competition in just a moment, Peter, but we do have Michael Buhagiar's wife with us in the studio, Tammi. Thank you for joining us. It's pretty tough to talk about it still, is it? Or is it something that you'd like to talk about and raise awareness?
Look, it's not as tough anymore. I'm definitely at the point where I would like to talk about it. Get the word out there, hopefully save some lives by doing
How old was Michael, Tammi?
He was 42, had just turned 42. We'd only been married 3 months.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
So I planned a wedding and then a funeral.
Yes. Were the warning signs there?
Look, Michael never hid the fact that he was suffering from depression. He, in the 5 years we were together, he was very open to begin with that he suffered all of his adult life with depression. He also said he was unwilling to take medication because of the side effects around it. Michael was very good for talking to people about everybody else's problems, but not his own. Warning signs. Look, he'd go into withdrawal modes, or he'd be the total opposite and he'd be totally angry. In our house, we at sometimes were walking on eggshells, waiting for him to snap. He'd go through periods where the smallest thing would set him off. It didn't matter, and then it didn't matter. Everything in his life was wrong. Nothing was right. Now I spent a good majority of the time trying to pick him up. I'm a very positive person, so I spent my time being that positive person and bringing him up. And you know what? It worked. But I think it was a Band-Aid, and, cricket was an absolute big part of his life. He absolutely loved the cricket game, but he also loved the fact of getting together with the boys, having a chat about everything and nothing. But unfortunately, it is chatting about everything and nothing. It's not saying, look, you know what, I'm having a really crap day. I don't know what it is. And because that's the problem. They don't actually know what it is that's setting them off. And they don't know how to have that conversation of, look, I'm having a really crap day. What do I do?
Because it's not. It can't be specific, can it? Because
it's not specific.
Because with depression, I mean, if it's you and I having a bad day, say what's wrong? Oh well, I didn't get this, or I missed out on that. But with depression, there's no
absolutely
actual tangible reason.
There's no reason, and that's part of the problem, because in your head it makes it worse because you don't know yourself what the problem is.
It makes no sense,
and it makes it more frustrating.
Yep.
I'm a talker. I'll talk the ears off anybody, and I've got so many wonderful support people out there that I talk daily. After losing Michael, I would tell my story over and over and over again, and I still do. If something's going on, good, bad, or indifferent, I'll talk about it. You ask me, and I'll tell you.
How did he express his anger? Did you just sort of start shouting, or what did he?
Look, without being awful. Look, Michael came. He was ex-Navy. He was in the Navy for 12 years. Michael was he had that military background. So I have 3 children. So he lived with me and my 3 children. He also had 5 children of his own, and he was very different style of discipline, I suppose. And at times I felt I was keeping my children out of his way because he would go to the other extremes of just something tiny would set him off, and he didn't mean anything by it, and he would just go off at the smallest thing. Other times he would just be so withdrawn that no one really knew what he was thinking or doing, or going out to see friends. No, I don't want to go. I'd rather just sit here. Okay, do I sit here with you or do I still go?
Well, it's a hard decision for you to make, because do you continue living your life, or do you devote yourselves to basically making sure that he's got some sort of cocoon there that protects him from everybody else?
Absolutely. And look, I will be bluntly honest here, it is really hard as a partner to live with someone like that.
It's exhausting, isn't it?
It is exhausting, because, and look, it wasn't a daily thing for Michael. It would come out occasionally. It's always there. I always knew it was there. But in really bad times, I focused my whole life around making sure he was okay and making sure that he got up in the morning smiling. But that's exhausting because that's not a fix.
No,
there's no counselling services. Yeah. How do you know to pick up the phone and ring a particular counselling service? Because you might go to one and it's not for you. And then that's it. I don't want to see a counsellor ever again. And that's what Michael did.
So this cricket tournament, has it given you a little bit of, I guess, a chance to promote awareness of suicide prevention and depression? Do you feel as though, listen, we can use this as a conduit?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm 110% behind this. And when Pete actually contacted me, it took him a little while because I moved house a number of times. And I said, absolutely, I will do as much as I can for this. For one, I'm humbled that this is in Michael's name, because cricket was such a big part of Michael's life that this is something that people will continue to remember him by. But also the fact that, through losing Michael, we might be able to save a family, save a life, just by having
this discussion.
Absolutely. On the cricket pitch, in the cricket
talking
sheds,
about it, like you say. Talk about it.
You have to talk about it. I can't stress that enough. You have to keep talking, whether it starts off with the small things, but eventually you might figure out what that big thing is and how to deal with it. And when people are in the thick of it, they don't know what to do. If you've got people around you and people are talking about it, people can help. Like, arm yourself with the information and the resources, and ask someone if they're okay.
Have you found that in the last couple of years that when people have become aware of your story, that they've said to you, listen, I've suffered from depression, we've got an issue like this in our family?
No, not so much. I do know of a couple of people, and by me telling our story, I do think that helps. I've got both. I've got living with someone that was depressed, and then I've got the aftermath. You know, the devastation that suicide leaves behind is incredible. You know, my girlfriend found Michael. She's got to live with that image, that devastation. She was also a friend, so she's got to live with that for the rest of her life. We lost our home because of it. We could never go back to our house. We had to live with friends for 8 weeks. You know, he had 5 children. He had, you know, my 3 children. There's just I think people hearing that side of it, whether that stops somebody from going that extra step, or whether it helps people to say, look, you know, no, I'm going to do everything I can to help someone I know depressed, so that I'm not left with that, so that, you know, another family is not devastated.
The message that you're telling to a certain degree here is that you can seek help. You don't have to do it by yourself.
Absolutely. There is... Look, I've, again, not naming names, but I have recently helped out a close friend of mine who hit that point. I stayed with her. I rang various counselling services until I took her home, and I sat with her until a service actually came out and spoke to her. Now, that took me a good hour and a half to actually get through so many different people to have some, and I said, I'm not leaving her. Someone needs to come and see her right now, because if I leave her, anything could happen. Now, she's now going through the process of, okay, these are the steps I have to make, and she does. She's got this little program in place, and, you know, she'll be better for it. And, you know, she knows exactly what we went through.
Thank you, Tammi. Peter, can you just tell us a few details about how people can become involved in this thing?
Firstly, I'd just like to say one of the things about this competition is we're setting this up as an annual competition, so this will be the first of many to come.
Oh, terrific.
We don't.
That's great.
2 years ago they had a memoriam game. We want to be able to keep this going, and certainly City and Suburban are committed to it, so it'll be held annually from here. It's not open to just City and Suburban cricketers. It's not open to just men. I haven't had any women. I've had 2 girls play LMS so far, but it's basically, if you want to come and play Last Man Stands in this format, please get involved. We'll organise a game to get you involved and promote that game. But basically, if you go to the Last Man Stands website, so lastmanstands.com/play cricket Canberra, there's a link there to register a team. That'll automatically flow through to me, and I can register you. You can call me on 0419 293 592, and I'll be able to give you some more information about it from there as well.
But you simply go to the website. I went to it the other day, and there are details on this on that website.
Yep. There certainly are, and certainly the Canberra City and Suburban guys are well behind it. We've had Trophy Link in Mawson donate the ongoing perpetual trophy for the competition as well. One of the other things is at the end of the month we'll be holding a fundraiser, which will be around at the end of the month, at the end of the competition. Are You OK Day is on Thursday the 13th of September. We're aiming to have this on Friday the 14th. Okay. But there'll be more information on that on the website. Sorry.
All right. Yes, just go to the Last Man Stands website. Bernadette has phoned through. Just wants to know that people with depression won't speak up. Should people just look out for it?
Absolutely. You know,
I think it's up to all of us to be aware of what's happening with other people. And if you spot something, say, "Are you okay?" I mean, that's the whole point of this campaign, is just to keep your eyes open and be aware of what's going on with people around you.
I think you have to listen sometimes. I have experienced through cricket myself. There are a few people out there that they think they're telling you, but people aren't listening for the catch. So, look for the changes. Look for the changes in the way people are.
And it can become quite cryptic too, some of the messages that people say. While not saying it, Tammi, they give you enough indication.
Yeah, absolutely. And, that's all you can do. Just look out for it. Just have those conversations. And, you know, I mean, there's no magic cure for this, obviously, but...
That's right.
All we can do.
Okay, Tammi, thanks very much for joining us in the studio.
Thanks for having us.
And thank you, Peter. Peter Bowman and Tammi Buhagiar. The Lifeline number has just appeared on the screen too, Andrea. 13 11 14. 13 11 14 is the number for Lifeline.
Indeed. Thanks, Tim.
All right. The Last Man Stands website is the place to go if you'd like to become involved in this cricket tournament.
Yes, you can register at the w's.lastmanstands, all one word, .com/play cricket Canberra. Thanks very much, Tim.
Bye.